do it.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday night comic book stream here at Fantasy Books and Games. I'm Aaron. This is Sam.
What up?
And, it's a new year. It is 2026.
Ooh.
So I don't want to think about that. But, we're trying something new. We're going to start streaming here on Facebook. I know our.
Hi, Mark.
we have. We know we got a lot of people that follow us on Facebook, so we're going to try and just see how that goes. And we're kind of making it up as we go along. So I don't know entirely how I'm still getting used to the interface of all of this stuff.
Mhm.
So I don't know if we're going to be able to see comments or not. Maybe I wonder if I can like bounce back and forth. Oh yeah. So, okay. I already saw, I can like, I can,
Oh, that's trippy.
this is, yeah. So I see that I can't see the comments in the program that we're using, but I can switch over to see. Let me see what happens here if I can.
Is there already? Oh, hey.
Hey, I think. uh, Hello, everybody. I'm gonna put this in the chat and see. See, there we go. Okay, yeah, there we are. So, yeah, we're just gonna, like I said, we're playing this by ear, making it up as we go along. We're having fun. We're doing it. So, let's just jump right into it. It's not a huge week for comics, but it is bigger than last week,
Yes.
which it would have to be because
Oh
last
my
week
God.
was the smallest week, the fifth week in December. It was possibly the smallest week ever for any comic book.
DC put out nothing.
Yeah, it was like
right?
nothing
Yeah,
for DC.
like
There might have
literally
been.
nothing.
I can't even remember what I got. I only got 2 books last week,
Yeah.
and I don't even remember what they were. But anyway, if you're watching this stream for the first time, you might not know, but I know, Sam,
I know.
you know how I like to start these streams.
Yes. With facsimile.
That's right, because I'm an old guy and I like reading my old comics, and we are so blessed. Tomorrow there are 4 different facsimile
Oh my
reprints
gosh.
coming out tomorrow. Uh, First up, this is like a second printing of a facsimile reprint.
Oh, okay.
DC's done this before. Tomorrow we're getting to see Brave and the Bold number 28. This is the first appearance of the Justice, excuse me, the Justice League. I don't know if I'm even going to flip through it too much. I guess I will, just because I love to show off the excellent quality of DC's reprints. Like, they just look so good. And this one got a facsimile reprint a few years ago. So this is not the first time they've reprinted this issue, but I am still probably going to buy this one. This is going to tell you how how much of a stickler I am, because I've complained before about the definition of facsimile. So a few years ago, DC's facsimiles, they printed this one, and they were doing the thing that Marvel still does today, where they put the barcode on the front of the issue, which is inaccurate. It's
right.
because old comics didn't have barcodes.
Right.
And so they did that with, I think that was 22, 23s, somewhere in there. They stopped like in 23 or 24.
Okay.
So they did this one several years, not several, but 3 or 4 years ago,
Sure.
and it has the barcode on it, and it's always bothered me just a little bit. So I'm very happy that we get a new, fresh version that has no barcode on the front. DC puts the barcode on the back, where it is out of sight and nobody cares about the ad on the back. Anyway, so yes, very glad that DC is doing a new reprint for the crybabies like myself. That's just, what can I say? That's just how it is. Moving on, another facsimile reprint. I really actually was really excited to see this one, Jughead number 327. Now, I'm not like the world's biggest Archie reader or anything, and my wife said to me like a few months ago, she's like, "Why are you buying all these Archie comics? Like, I've never cared about Archie." But they're reprints of like classic issues, and what I like about them is that you can kind of trust that it's going to be a interesting issue. That's why it's getting reprinted, and this one is no exception. In this issue, let's get it on the downward camera here. Jughead goes punk. It's Punk Jughead. This issue came out in 1983. So right when Punk was settled into like the pop culture consciousness. And there's a lot of pretty good jokes in this one. Just Jughead the Punk. He's got a mohawk. I think it's supposed to be a mohawk. It doesn't really look
Not quite.
It's like
from the
looks a little
back,
weird.
Yeah.
I forget which artist this would have been in this one, but probably didn't have a lot of experience drawing mohawks. But they go to a punk club, and there's just some good jokes about how they're all. It's a convention for weirdos. Good. And Archie almost gets beat up in the mosh pit
Oh no.
because like he sees some guy just punches Jughead, and Archie tries to save him, and then they're like, "Hey, that's how we dance here." It's pretty funny, and
That's
it's
awesome.
pretty kitschy and pretty silly. So I you know, as somebody who you know, I was never really full punk because my time
Oh,
was like kind of after. I mean, I was a
you had a
little.
punk phase?
I had a punk. I mean,
Do you have a mohawk?
I have had a mohawk.
Oh,
Yes, I
okay.
did have a. But ironically, I had my mohawk after my punk phase.
Oh.
Just that was time I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna have a mohawk. But no, I was a little punky, you know, in my day. But it was
Mhm.
after the fact. It wasn't like in the '80s when punk was like real. It was in the '90s when Green Day was punk, and it's just like once punk went pop, you
Yeah,
know.
it was over.
Anyway, yeah, well, pretty much, but not. There's still a lot of great punk bands out there. You don't have to jump down my throats on that one. So, oh, I'm gonna check our comments section really quick because I see there's a few comments, and the answer is no. I'm assuming that's Dan that's typing. He's our troubleshooter guy.
Oh.
They're not showing up in OBS, but I can flip back to the Facebook interface and I can see the chats show up there. But so we're going to move on. I don't want to dwell too much on our technical issues. I do want to just show off the comics. There are two other super fantastic facsimiles coming out tomorrow. We'll do this one first. Is Spider Boy Team Up? This is the original 1997 Amalgam series. If
Nice.
you remember, Sam,
Yes.
in the 90s, Marvel did their Marvel versus DC. Marvel and DC did the Marvel vs. DC, and then they did their amalgam line of comics where they combined their characters
Mhm.
into a new character. And if you read, this isn't a spoiler anymore. I don't think we talked about this on the stream, but if you read the most recent Batman Deadpool, the story by Grant Morrison, that was the DC issue, we saw the Wolverine Batman amalgam character show up in that Dark Claw. And I don't remember if we showed that off on the stream at the time because it was kind of a spoiler, but I was very excited to see Dark Claw
Nice.
because the amalgam characters are all kind of silly but kind of neat and
They're
kitschy,
fun.
you know, and they're fun. Yeah,
When you're a
so
kid, they were cool. Like yeah.
exactly. Well, you know, actually, like when that came out, I was probably getting to be just past the age where I was like starting to get into like comics aren't cool; they're for little babies. And then like that came out, and I was like, this is so lame. Marvel and DC, like this is so pathetic. But you know, now I look back on it and I'm like, wow, I really missed out on some awesome
Mhm.
stuff. And this issue is no exception. This issue is fantastic. I love this issue. This is as you can see, it's Superboy and Spider Man
Mhm.
mashed together to create Spider Boy. But also, this is team up, and so in this issue, he teams up with the Legion of Galactic Guardians 2099. So it's the Legion of Superheroes and the Guardians of the Galaxy, and also 2099. They have a lot of fun
All
with
in
it,
the
just kind of
one.
mixing it all together. And the art is by one of my favorite comic artists of that era, Jose Ladron. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Ladron, but he did actually, like, I'm not exaggerating when I say he did the all-time best run on cable ever with
Okay.
Joe Casey. You know,
Oh.
so
Neat.
I know everybody likes Rob Liefeld, but Casey and Ladron, they were the jam.
Nice.
And so yeah, Ladron does the art in this issue, and it's written by it's well, the credits say R.K. Sternsel, which is a combination, which is kind of cute because it's a Marvel
Oh, they
DC.
amalgam.
It's Roger Stern and Carl Kessel, and they amalgamed themselves into a single creator.
That's amazing.
But yeah, this is just a fantastic comic.
Yeah.
Like I know that's like a gimmick, you know, it's a little gimmicky to mash up these characters, but the storytelling is on point. Like these are all excellent creators.
Right.
They know what they're doing. They know what types of comics they're making. It seems sort of antiquated now at this point because this is before the era of decompressed storytelling. So
Mhm.
I love the fact that it's just a single issue. This is the only issue. Well, I guess there were two Spider Boy issues. There was a Marvel published one and a DC published one. And this, I think, I actually don't know. I think this might have been this had to be the Marvel published one because it was Ledrin on the art. But what I love about these types of amalgam books is because that they came out at a time before kind of the modern contemporary style of comic book storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was just a single issue that existed of a lot of these characters, and you could read that issue, and that's all you get. It's just that story. It's a contained story, but it still feels like there's a bigger world out there,
Right.
which is what you used to get out of a lot of old comics. You could just kind of read them, and there's a lot of inferred uh, bigger scale, and you got to collect all the comics to to get it. But
Right.
anyway, I'm turning into an old guy, just reminiscing about the days gone by. Even older. This one is not even from my childhood. This one is from before my time, but I'm very, very, very excited about this facsimile reprint. Superman and the Amazing Spider-Man.
Ooh.
Superman versus Spider-Man, the Treasury edition, reprinted for the first time, I believe. I think this story showed up in the omnibus that Marvel and DC put out for like all of their crossovers, but I'm very excited that we got a facsimile reprint. As you can see, this is an oversized book. This is an excellent, excellent comic book. It's not even really going to fit on the downward stream or
That
downward
cover is
camera. Oh,
excellent.
it's the
Yeah.
most, it's iconic. It's a very iconic cover. This is one of those covers you see that gets the homages quite often. People do
Pretty
tributes to
frequently,
this
yeah.
one, yeah. But this issue, it's written by Jerry Conway and Ross Andrew, or drawn by Ross Andrew. Those are the two guys that were doing Spider-Man in the 70s,
Ah.
and they've also done Superman. But man, these are just like big,
Oh my
big
God.
comics. Like, oh, it's so good. This is a great one. I'm very glad this is coming out. I do have an original copy of this,
Ooh.
but now I can buy the reprint and read it and not have to destroy my original one
Nice.
because it's a little brittle, I'll
Yeah.
say. But yeah, this is a cool comic. One cool thing that they're doing too is that there are some variant covers for this. There is a foil variant, which they've been doing for a lot of those, but it's also really neat. They're doing a variant with the I guess I don't know if it's famous, but with the Alex Ross interpretation of the cover. It's like we can put them side by side here. You can see here's the original, and then this is the Alex Ross tribute. And yeah, pretty cool that they're doing that. I'm excited. I'm probably gonna have to buy the Alex Ross one since I
Nice.
have the original, and then I can have
Exactly.
the two of them.
Yeah.
So this is like for all you people out there, you collectors that have the original, you can come in and get the Alex Ross cover.
Is Peter Parker that tall that he's like that close to Superman in height?
On
the back?
On the back.
Yeah.
You know what? That's a good point. This is probably a little bit of artistic license. I think these days he would probably be shown as a little shorter.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
But it is funny that they're like almost the same height. But anyway, I don't want to show off. It's not even going to fit on the camera, but this is a really, really great comic. Actually, one of my favorite 70s comics. So very excited that this is getting a reprint. Okay. We have that's it for the facsimiles. As I said, #bless that we got 4 facsimiles coming out tomorrow.
Did you just make a hashtag?
I did make a little hashtag. But there's a couple of collected editions coming out tomorrow too. I just want to briefly highlight Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. The digest edition is coming out, and I gotta say, DC has been killing it with their digest books. Like these compact comics, you get the complete graphic novel for just $10. Like there's a reason that our best sellers of the year have almost all been just these digest books.
Well, I'll tell you what, too, over the holidays, this was an easy gift to suggest.
Perfect
Thank you,
gift,
DC, for making our jobs
so much easier.
Yes.
Yeah, these things literally they sell themselves.
Yeah.
Like people just come in and are like, oh, $10, okay,
Exactly, yeah.
It's like it's cheaper than some of the manga,
Mhm.
that we have. So that's pretty wild that they're doing that. And I know there's a lot of excitement about this book. This is the one that the upcoming Supergirl movie is based off of. So if you haven't read it yet, now's your chance to get a nice compact edition that you won't even notice that $10 gone.
Nope.
Like you really won't. This day and age, yeah. Also coming out tomorrow, just want to make a special mention because I love Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. Cruel Summer is getting a reprint. This time it is being rebranded with the Criminal logo on it, and it's actually now volume 10 of Criminal. I believe originally it was just an original graphic novel that took place in the Criminal story arc, or the world of Criminal, because Criminal is just an anthology series, and it's about different characters. But with the show coming out, I think they're rightly just letting everybody know this isn't just another Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips book. It is a Criminal book. So if you haven't read this one yet, check it out. It is a nice, hefty graphic novel. I I mean, I talk about Brubaker and Phillips all the time. They're two of my favorite creators, and I think they, even when they do something that is not their best work ever, it's still pretty good. So
Generally,
you
yeah.
you really can't go wrong reading a Brubaker and Phillips book. Last trade paperback that is coming out tomorrow. This is a new book, Los Monstruos.
Hmm.
I talked about this one monthly as it was coming out, and it's finally getting a collected edition. I really loved this book. I don't remember if you read this one, Sam.
I have not.
So this one, it's a very straightforward. It's just like a detective noir story,
Right.
except the detective is a werewolf, and it takes place in Monster Town, where there's just populated by monsters. Horrorwood, and it's very much like an L.A. noir story, just with the kind of classic. I don't necessarily want to say universal monsters, but a lot of them are classic versions of these characters, like a Frankenstein and a vampires and Draculas and Lady Frankensteins and things like
Monsters
mummies,
you'll recognize.
monsters you'll recognize.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's let's see, I'm trying to remember
Ooh, the
who.
art is really
The
good.
art is great. I'm just trying to find the credits on this because I've forgotten it already, but I think it was, oh man, there we are. I kept wanting to say Jerry Robinson, but he's a Golden Age creator.
Oh,
James Robinson wrote it, and Jesus Marino did the art, and it is fantastic. Like, this is just a really, really good book. If you like detective stories, if you like Universal monsters, it's not, I think the nice thing about this too is it's not really horror. It's just more like just the setting of there being monsters, but really it's just firmly rooted in a detective genre.
gotcha.
But really, really good book. Highly, highly recommend it. Like I said, you won't be disappointed. Okay, Sam.
I'll check it out.
All right, we got a few other new stuff that's coming out tomorrow. What do you got that's
So
that you read that you
I
really
got a
liked?
couple books. I read the second installation of Batman, Green Arrow, and the Question
Oh,
Arcadia.
good. I didn't get a
Yeah,
chance to flip through this, so I'm glad you read
it
this.
was very good.
You liked it?
So I think it's
Okay.
supposed to be a three-parter total.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, this was definitely a good follow-up to the previous issue.
Mm-hmm.
Art's good. Um, it spends equal time with each of the characters, so if you're a big Green Arrow fan and not so much Batman fan, you won't be disappointed. And it shows Ollie doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
I like, and it's like the classic versions of the characters too, if I recall, right?
Yes, I
Like
think so. That it definitely has those vibes to it. I don't
yeah.
know if there's anything in the story that's overtly addressed
Well,
that,
I mean,
but
like, so it's like in current DC continuity, I believe Renee Montoya is the Question,
correct.
and
Yeah.
so this is the
Vic Sage,
Vic
right?
Sage, the
I
original Question.
Is that right?
I think
Okay,
so.
yeah.
I can't actually remember his name, but because this whole thing, like, just even like the look of it, I'm not familiar with these creators, Gabriel Hardman and Romulio Fajardo.
Your
Anyway,
guess is as good as mine.
I'm not super familiar with them, but the look of this, like, this just looks like something that's kind of the '80s versions of the character. Even like Batman here, he's got the yellow bat
Right,
symbol.
yeah,
So the
yeah.
whole thing kind of just gives me like '80s vibes, which I think all these characters were kind of like in a specific place in that era of DC.
Right. Which is funny because the story itself is pretty contemporary. Like
Sure,
the
that's not to say that it's like a retro continuity book like Marvel
right.
does. Like, it just, I feel like this is a Black Label book, and what I like about a lot of these Black Label books is they're usually stories told by creators that want to tell versions of the characters they really like,
Yes.
and so you get a lot of this where it's like a creator who's, whatever age he is, he wants to write about the version of the character that he read as a kid. So if you're going to get a bunch of guys in their 30s and 40s, you're going to get people that want to just tell stories about classic versions of the characters from the 80s and 90s and what have you. So that's one of the reasons I like the Black
Yeah,
Label,
yeah.
because it's they're detached from the trappings of like modern continuity where
Mhm.
something new always has to be happening and changing. So anyway, yeah, I'm
Creative
glad to hear it was
freedom.
good.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was good. Yeah. I
awesome.
I really liked too how like it has this simple story of there's this billionaire who wants to set up like floating cities essentially to combat climate change.
Hmm.
And you have these three superheroes who are involved and each of them has kind of like a different interaction based on their like personal ethics and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
It's really well written.
Yeah, because they're all like very similar characters, but they also kind of all have their own thing going on.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so that's cool. I'll have to give it a read. I
Yeah.
thought the first issue was pretty good.
Yeah.
I just, like I said, I just didn't get to it yet. It's because I was busy reading The Twilight Zone #3. This issue is written and drawn by James Stokoe, one of my favorite creators who does not do enough comics these days. But man, this Twilight Zone series has just been fantastic.
Yeah.
Like the last issue was by we're getting a lot of huge glare on here. The last issue was by also one of my favorite writer artists, Tom Scioli. So they're just getting like a murderer's row of great talent so far on this Twilight Zone. The first issue also, I don't remember the artist, but it was written by Dan Waters. So it was, I think it was Dan Waters. I've already forgotten.
Is Francesco Francavilla doing one of these?
He's doing the covers. I don't know. I haven't actually looked at any of the solicitations for future issues. I was like surprised when I saw. I was like, oh, James Stokoe, nice. He might be, but he is definitely the variant covers for these. There's like a series of connecting variant covers that he's done.
Gotcha.
But this is a cool issue. This Twilight Zone series has been really good. Like I said, they got. I appreciate that they're getting creators with unique voices that also do a really good job of replicating the feel of classic Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
And this one is no exception. It's a little off the wall. It's a little weird. Like it starts out kind of this like barbarian type of war happening, and then there's kind of a twist, which I don't really want to spoil, but I guess you see a little bit of it right there. There's a knight using an American flag, and also there appears to be machine guns. So yeah, there's it's some cool stuff happening, but James Stokoe is just awesome. Oh, you know what? I'm so stupid. It's right on the cover there. It's difficult to see with the glare, but that's the American flag. So I guess it's not that much of a spoiler.
No.
There's some other stuff that happens
Sure.
too, but I'm not going to spoil it.
Yeah.
But I really like this issue. This series has been fantastic.
Nice.
All right, another one that I'm going to talk about. I didn't read this thoroughly, but I flipped through it and I read a few scenes. But I wanted to highlight it because Christmas just ended. But if you're still in the Christmas spirit, if you're going kicking and screaming into January, there is a new Nightmare Before Christmas series coming out. This is the first issue, The Shiver of Christmas Town, and it's got this. So first of all, I like that they do these covers with Jay Lee. Jay Lee does these covers because he seems appropriate for Nightmare Before Christmas, like suitably creepy. And this issue sees this new character, this bear, who what's the wheelchair doctor's name? Finkelstein. Yeah, Finkelstein. And he tries to create this new monster, and out pops this like weird, cute teddy bear. Basically, he's a little Frankenbear, and he's there's. Oh, I skipped the page. There he is. Yeah, there's the reveal.
Aww.
And he's supposed to be this like horrible, scary monster, and he's just a cute little goofball. And and the story kind of goes off from there, as you might expect. But you know what? I thought it was cute. It was a cute little bear. Okay, less cute than that.
Less cute than that.
We'll talk about these really quick. I think this is probably the book most people are excited for that's coming out tomorrow, and that is Absolute Batman Arc M. Ooh. This series has been so popular that they did an annual, and now they're just doing a special. Like it's just an extra issue because it's doing so well. And this issue. Let's get it on the camera here. This issue is the story of Arkham Asylum, as you might expect, but in the Absolute universe. Mm-hmm. And I've spoken many times about how I don't particularly care for Absolute Batman, which is, sometimes I say that cautiously. It's a little because I've mentioned it, but I know it's a lot of people's favorite book. Yes. Like it's really popular, and I get that, and I'm glad you enjoy it, but it's not my favorite. And
what did you think of this, though?
This was a solid issue. Okay. It's like a well-written story. There's a little bit of a twist in it, which I'm not going to bring up, but it's like the history of Arkham Asylum in Gotham up
Oh,
until,
okay.
so like as you can see, the story opens in 1945.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's tied to some characters that we've already seen
Okay.
in Absolute Batman, and without spoiling anything, we do see a new character,
Ooh.
or I should say, a new character is revealed at the end of the
Yeah.
issue. So you know what? It was it's if I cared more about Batman, I'd probably be, or Absolute Batman, I should say, I'd probably be way into it. But as it stands, it was a solidly written issue. I should also point out it's co-written by Scott Snyder, who is regularly writing Absolute
Right.
Batman, but also Frank Thierry, who he's like a veteran comic book writer. He was writing in the maybe the 90s, definitely the early 2000s.
I know the name, but I'm not
He's
really familiar
he's
with
been
him.
around. He's written a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He wrote a lot of like Wolverine issues, and
Okay.
he did a lot of stuff at Marvel in the 2000s. And I honestly have no idea what he's been up to lately, but he is co-writing Absolute Batman, at
Oh,
least this
nice.
issue. So I should also point out that I liked the art. I think that
Yeah, it looked different.
it looked different. Yeah, the Absolute books by and large have had good art, and I like the regular series artist Nick Dragata. This is a the credits are in the back page, and I'm not going to flip to it because that's where the spoiler is. But it's Hickson is his last name. Yeah, Hickson, I believe.
Hickson.
But yeah, it was a good issue.
Nice.
I feel the same way about Absolute Superman number 15 that's coming out tomorrow.
Ah.
I thought it was a good issue. I was kind of on the fence with Absolute Superman. I feel like the story's dragged on just a little bit,
Yeah.
and one of my criticisms of it is that, as you might see flipping through this, one of my criticisms is that it has not had a lot of Superman characters in it.
No.
Lois Lane
Yeah.
and Jimmy Olsen are in it, and then in the most recent issues, once he kind of goes to Kansas, we see Lana Lang. But it like I don't like that the main villains have been the Peacekeepers and Ra's al Ghul and
Right.
like Lazarus Corp, and I was really excited when Brainiac showed up because I was like, finally a Superman character. And again, without spoiling the end of this issue, there is a tease that we are leading into some more Superman villains. So
Okay.
I'm like, because I was like, this issue, I hate to say it was a little bit of a make or break issue for me, where I was like, if I don't like this issue, I'll probably drop the series. But
So how to do?
I'm gonna keep going at least to
Okay.
see what they do with this new character who's a legitimate Superman villain that
Okay.
I'm excited to see. So also now he's back in, like, as you can see, he's in the blue costume, which is it's nice.
Yeah.
That he's got the blue. But otherwise, yeah, it's Absolute Superman I have enjoyed, but it's not my favorite of the absolutes. That distinction goes to almost a tie between Absolute Wonder Woman and
Martian
Absolute
Man.
Martian Manhunter.
Me too.
Yeah. But anyway, all right. What's something else you got that you read?
I also have. So I had Arcadia, and now I have Arcadia.
Oh,
They both came out.
oh yeah, that's
this
right.
week.
This was the same last month.
Yeah.
They both came out because they were right next to each other, and it almost looked like I got tripped up because I thought it was like a variant cover or something because they
Right,
both say
yeah.
Arcadia on them. So I wonder.
Thankfully,
You know
it
what?
hasn't
I'm-
resulted in any miscommunications with customers
That's
or between
true.
stores or anything like that. So
I'm enough of a conspiracy theorist to believe that somebody might be purposely releasing their book the same week as somebody else. You know,
You think the Miranda brothers are trying to
maybe not.
ride the...
Maybe not them. Maybe an editor somewhere.
Oh,
You know,
I
somebody
see.
is like, you know what? Let's like ride. You know, if we can get just like a couple of people to accidentally buy this
Like,
comic,
what's 5 more sales?
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, it all matters because in comics, I think we all know there's not a ton of money in
No.
comics, so you need every sale you can get.
Yeah.
But anyway, Arcadia issue
So
2.
Arcadia issue 2.
We talked about
was-
issue 1 on the stream.
Yeah.
How did issue 2 stand out?
Issue 2 was cool. I think it addressed a lot of the issues that we talked about last time, where there
Right.
was just like a lot of plot and a lot of setup.
It was a
and stuff
ton of
like
world
that.
building,
Mhm.
and also I think my big criticism last time was that the post-apocalyptic setting. I didn't like that the danger just sort of was like they're just zombies, like
Right.
the other, like the whatever they called them. They basically
They
were
call them ferals. I
ferals,
think.
yeah, but they were basically just zombies, and I felt like that was not that interesting.
Yeah.
So, how issue 2, does that develop that a
So
little
the
bit
ferals
more?
show back up.
Okay.
So there's more of that.
All right.
There is a little bit of conflict that's introduced here where these androids, I can't remember what they're called anymore.
It was Sin.
They're like synth.
Oh man, I forgot it already too.
I did too, but they there is a time limit on them. Like
Right.
they die, and this is kind of an issue in which one character that's closest to the main character is kind of like coming to terms with that. And he's just he's working on this big experiment, and if only he had more time. And then the issue ends with what the main character is going to do about that.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it was cool.
Did
it
you
definitely had a lot of like breathing room compared to the first issue.
You feel like it had more like character stuff in
Yes.
it? Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
Because that was I felt like I couldn't really get attached to the characters in the first issue.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
This reinforces that a little
Okay.
bit.
Good. Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Did you? How does it hold up compared to the first issue? Like, are you?
I liked it a little better.
Liked it a little bit more?
Yeah, just
Okay.
because that was a big exposition dump in the first issue. I still liked it, but it was quite a bit.
Yeah.
And this, like I
Okay.
said, it's got some breathing room.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, moving on. Let's see.
Yeah.
What do you have? Do you
I
have
got
just
one
one more?
more.
Okay, we'll talk about a few things before we get to that. I
Yeah.
actually have 2 more, so we're kind of gearing up toward the end here, but that's okay. Also, I read Batman #5 that comes out
Ooh,
tomorrow,
nice.
and it's kind of funny that this is coming out the same week as that Absolute Batman Arc M issue, because I feel like this new Batman series by Matt Fraction and Jorge Jimenez, or is it Jimenez, or I can't remember if it's I can't remember it.
Didn't we talk about this last time?
Yeah, we probably did. It is Jorge. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. I feel like this series is getting overshadowed by Absolute Batman.
It's a shame.
And it's a shame because I feel like it's better, but
I would
also
agree with that.
I think it's just like I understand the appeal of Absolute Batman is that it's like a new take on Batman.
Sure.
And this is classic Batman,
Right.
So that's what I like about it, is that it is just like classic Batman. And this is a really, really, really good issue. I think one of the things I've said, I think like the first issue, I thought it was good, and the second issue was good. It wasn't really until the 4th issue and now this issue that I feel the series is really picking up steam.
Right.
This is a very strong issue. And again, it's very character focused, of Bruce Wayne going on a date with
with
this
the one lab tech.
The scientist that works for Wayne Industries, which I mean, come on, Bruce.
A little bit of a conflict.
Well, like HR is going to get involved in this, but they kind of play it off like funny because they're just meeting to talk about work, and then they're both like teasing each other of like, do you think this is a date? No. Do you think this is a date? And then they both think it's a date.
It's a date.
And then they get attacked by motorcycle riding, white suit, mask wearing samurai ninjas. It's all pretty cool. Like, it's like classic, just like cool action movie Batman type characters. And I think what's really neat about this is that he never is in the bat suit in this entire. This is all Bruce Wayne. So he's having to figure out how to like deal with all this stuff without revealing the fact that he's Batman. Right. Which is that's a fun, like a fun twist. I've talked about this before, I think, on the stream. I like a good secret identity.
Yeah.
And I hate that seems to have gone away in a lot of comics, especially Marvel comics. It's like they just do away with their secret identities.
Well, it's never an issue like in the Marvel movies now. Like
that's what I think that's what kind of started it.
I think you're right.
Where it's like they're just like, who cares? They don't need secret identities. They're just superheroes. And no, like secret identities are an essential part of the genre.
Right.
And this is a good issue that shows why, because you get fun action, you get unique, kind of like Bruce Wayne has to like be clever. He can't just be Batman. He's got to figure out how to stop these ninjas. Another character shows up to like a supernatural. It's a League of Assassins character,
Ooh,
and
okay.
it's just like, okay, he can't just be Batman. He doesn't even have his gadgets, and so it's really good. And
Yeah.
then again, like I'm not going to reveal the final page. Kind of, it's not really a twist, but the stinger that leads into the next issue. I thought it was great, and it's just been really, really good.
Yeah.
So I am enjoying this series way more than I expected to. I thought it would be good because Matt Fraction is a good writer, but it's very strong.
Okay.
I've not been this interested in reading just like a regular Batman series in a long time.
Yeah.
Like there's always so many Batman books out there, and usually I'll just read like a Black Label thing or like a mini series because it's not bogged down in whatever continuity they're doing. But this has been great.
That's
I,
good.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
All right, what's the book that you have?
The last book that I have is an X-Men book. If you can
Oh,
believe it or
I
not.
do believe it.
X-Men 23.
Is this the end of the Age
Well,
of
so
Revelation?
they did that. They did the end of
Oh,
Revelation.
this is the
that was one
epilogue.
of the books that one of the only books that came out.
That's
last
right.
Week.
Yeah, we talked about
Yeah.
that. And so
And-
this is the epilogue issue of X-Men of the Age of Revelation. So, wow. All right, here we are.
Big.
How does this hold up? How does
was
this
cool.
It was good?
So the premise of Age of Revelation,
Mhm.
Cyclops gets psychically sent into the future 10 years to stop the Age of Revelation. This is about his future self coming back to
Oh.
Cyclops' body.
They
And he
like
has
they like swap consciousnesses.
They swap
Okay.
consciousnesses, and he has one job: just kill Doug.
Okay.
kill him.
Yeah.
And,
Obviously, that would
and-
be what you would do.
Right. And that's really all that needs to be said about this issue.
Okay.
Like that,
All right.
he makes attempts,
Yeah.
plural, and talks to some of the characters. He has a really good one-on-one talk with Magneto,
Okay.
and yeah, it was good.
It's good.
Yeah.
So
I've been liking this. I
You-
believe it's Jed McKay who wrote this as well.
Jed
yeah.
McKay is he's good.
I've
think
been really liking his X-Men stuff.
so it was. I read the first like I don't know 4 or 5-ish issues of his run. I really liked that artist Ryan Stegman,
Yeah.
and so it was the one that felt the most like an X-Men book.
Mhm.
I think out of all of those books. I just couldn't get over some of the characterizations of the characters. Like I'm such
Like which specific
Juggernaut. I
Yeah.
still just can't get over Juggernaut just being on the X-Men. I'm an old school reader. He's such a great villain. I just like him as a villain. I don't care about
Yeah.
him having a redemption arc.
It's a little weird.
It's a little weird. Magic is like a new version of the character,
Mhm.
like, but that's fine because she wasn't much of a character in the before times.
Right.
So it's fine that they've reinvented her. But the fact that she was paired up with Juggernaut so often didn't
It's
it
weird.
didn't work for me. There's a few other things where I feel like the characters are just a little too, I don't know. It's just I still think it was the best of the
Yeah.
X-Men books, though. I want to be clear about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so on the whole, you would say that Age
I'm
of
in.
Revelation has been fantastic.
Yeah, I would say Age of Revelation, fantastic.
Okay, I don't want to put words in your
Yeah.
mouth.
The end was good, albeit a little anticlimactic.
Okay.
But I thought they've been fun. They've been really good.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that because like when they announced it, I was just like overwhelmed by the amount of new books that were coming
It
out to
wasn't
tie
as
in.
bad as,
But you know what? I got to be honest. It wasn't that bad. Like I do read a lot of comics, and I think that was part of the problem with me.
yeah.
It's like I'm somebody who's already reading 5 to 8 books a
And you're
week,
talking about another
and I don't need
3
to
or
add another
4.
3 to 4.
Yeah.
But anyway, so well, that's good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
By and large, I've heard good things about it. I think most people have enjoyed it, and it is, it is kind of nice to have just a I don't want to say like a full completed story, but it kind of is. Like you can
Yeah.
just same with Age of Apocalypse. You can just read the Age of Apocalypse series and just enjoy it as this like epic X-Men saga, and it feels like they've accomplished by recreating that feeling. They recreated that feeling and it worked.
Right.
Cool.
The Age of Revelation is probably a little. Well, they're both pretty weird. I was gonna say the Age of Revelation may be a little stranger
Uh-huh.
in terms of like what the world looks like than Age of Apocalypse, but
Yeah, maybe.
yeah, they're both pretty odd.
They're both a little weird. Anyway, all right, we got one more book to talk about, and then
Yeah.
we're done for the night. And this is one of the ones I teased earlier on our little teaser stream that you weren't a part of. Yeah, it was. I did one without you.
Oh,
This is
no.
Hank Howard, Pizza Detective, and this the Two Hollywoods. And this is a Bad Idea comic. Which, if you don't know anything about Bad Idea, they are they're a small publisher that is sometimes caught up in weird gimmicks with comic book publishing, but they do a good job of getting excellent creators that are sometimes under the
Yes.
radar, is how, I guess how I would put it. But
Mhm.
they're all really strong creators and they make really cool comics. This comic is written by Robert Venditti, who's done a ton of stuff. Most recently, I talked about the Ordained book, also from Bad Idea, that he wrote. But the art on this is by David Lapham, who is one of my favorite comic book creators. We've talked about David Lapham books like several times the last couple of weeks
Mhm.
between American Caper and Good is Dead.
Good is dead. Yeah.
This dude's got tons of stuff coming out right now. But this book is, again, you can probably tell I like detective stories because this one is also a film noir detective type story, but it's a little satirical, as you might expect from the title, Pizza Detective. And he is basically he's like a detective who's also kind of like an insurance claims adjuster, where
Oh.
he's hired by pizza places to like do detective work relating to pizza places. So in this case,
Detective work related to pizza
in
places.
this one, he's like following a delivery driver who's taking a little too long on his routes. And it's like the pizza's supposed to be delivered in 20 minutes, but it's taking him 40 minutes. So what's up with that?
Yeah.
And so he's following this driver around, and I guess without spoiling too much, it turns out that he stumbles into a gigantic drug ring that the pizza driver is operating.
Oh my god.
And there's just a lot of like parody of classic cop movies and detective stories and stuff like that. But it's played straight, and that's what makes it work so well.
That's
And
funny.
he's got he's got a lot of good puns. Like, I like this. He's yelling at the pizza manager, and he's like, "What? I'm just cutting the driver a little bit of slack. What's the harm?" And he goes, "Harm? I'll tell you about harm. You disrespected the job. You disrespected pizza." Yeah. Disrespected pizza.
That's
He takes the
amazing.
job very seriously.
Yes,
And
clearly.
like he gets into a fight with drug dealers. He gets arrested by the cops, who are like,
Yeah.
"What are you in? You're this isn't your business. This is cop business." It's all the classic beats that you get in these detective stories. But it's looks great. The storytelling is great because it's David Lapham. It's only 2 issues. Um, and another thing to point out too, if you're not familiar with Bad Idea, one of their big, I guess it's a selling point, one of their big things is that they don't do trade paperbacks or collected editions.
Yeah.
So they just put out the issues, and once that's out, it's out, and they just move on to the next one.
Mhm.
So you can't, like, I've had some people say like, "I'll just wait for the trade, if you miss issue 1," and I'm like, I have to explain to them,
Yeah.
sorry, that's not likely to happen.
This company doesn't
So
work like that.
no, they don't. They're an odd company. One might even say it's a bad idea. But anyway, so yeah, that's definitely my favorite. I think this is my favorite book of the
That was your
week.
favorite book.
Yeah,
I'll have to read that
I
tomorrow.
recommend. I mean, if you like David Lapham,
I do.
I think you'll enjoy it. But all right, that's it for us. Hopefully this stream went through and everybody was able to see it. We'll do a little post mortem afterwards and figure it out. But yeah, we're out of here. So thanks everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.